Wow, what a session. Tough act to follow. Thank you, Helena. It's great to see you, my old boss. Okay, look, guys, I know you've been sitting a long time, so I'm sorry that this isn't going to be too much fun, but I'll do my best. My favorite metaphor is that of a sailboat out on the vast blue seas. On some days, the conditions are just perfect. You hoist up the sails, the wind blows exactly at the right speed, the sun is shining in your face, and there you are, heading into the poetry of a seamless horizon. But on other days, the clouds break open, you're in the middle of a storm, running up and down the deck. You know the boat's going to hold. All it takes is just adjusting the sails and waiting for the storm to pass. I'm the daughter of first-generation immigrants from Sri Lanka who couldn't go back to Sri Lanka because of a civil war that broke out. When I was born in the 1980s, my dad negotiated flexible working so that he could come home every day at lunchtime and play with me for 2 hours. I know. When I was older, he can hear you. When I was older, my mum would pick us up from school and then take us back to our family business, an optician's shop, park us in the corner, and she would work and we would do our homework. We've always stuck together. We've always found a way to manage work in our family. My parents have fought very, very hard to give me the highest quality education, and most importantly, infuse me with the mindset that I could have anything a straight white man could have. Afraid? My dad would say. You're not afraid. We're not afraid. Life was always about working with the weather conditions and adjusting the sails. But then came dementia. Dementia is an umbrella term for an illness where, quite literally, people lose their mind. The cells in their brains start to die. You might know it, for example, as Alzheimer's. Today I'll be speaking specifically about my experience, but more crucially on behalf of all carers battling all kinds of conditions with their families, such as cancer, MS, stroke, suicide prevention, PTSD, epilepsy, and so many more. When dementia hit, first it was just Dad forgetting his house keys and his phone. Next, he couldn't remember where he was anymore or how to get dressed. He couldn't remember how to walk. He couldn't remember where the bathroom was. And he was bedridden and in diapers within 6 months. Next thing I know, we weren't just grieving his living death, but I was also showering him, shaving him, brushing his teeth, combing his hair. I'd cradle him in my arms when he had panic attacks from not understanding what was happening to him. I was often mopping up pools of urine, scrubbing feces and blood off my work clothes. But worst of all was having to call the ambulance every single week and spending the last 3 years of my dad's life with him in A&E and on hospital wards. I carried my work laptop, as you can see in that picture here of my mum, into an ambulance every single week. And for me, it became the norm to work from hospitals. Visiting hours are in the afternoon, so in the mornings I'd head into the office, and actually I was completely chuffed and delighted to be there. It does help to banter with your work colleagues and listen to them whinge about the broken coffee machine. By the time Dad passed away, I was relieved that he was no longer suffering and thinking I could return to my life, only for my mum to fall to the same disease within months. I've now been a dementia carer for 8 years, and being a carer is a bit like sailing in a storm every single day. But worst of all, one of your sails is always torn. So you're pulling the sail down, you're mending it, you're holding on to your mum's wheelchair, you're attending a team meeting, you're negotiating a nappy, you're organizing another blood test, booking another scan, picking up the prescriptions, getting a second opinion, paying cash for a private doctor because you really just need an answer right now, and you're negotiating with the NHS. You'll be thrown overboard. You'll pull yourself back up on deck. You'll finalize the client document. And then you need to make dinner. So the difference between a working parent and a working carer is that carers are not only making daily medical decisions, we're directing an entire network of medical teams, social services, and even the police. I'm not afraid. That's what my dad taught me. I know I'm going to make it through. I'm going to get to shore, but my mum's not going to make it. And that's simply the truth of the human condition. But I'm going to hang on to her as long as I can. I'm going to hold her close as long as I can. The trauma of being a carer is the most excruciating horror movie that I thought could possibly ever happen. But a few years ago, someone said something really beautiful to me. Darling, this isn't your breaking, this is your making. The disease has destroyed our lives, and I see every single day what it's doing to my family and my personal relationships. But most importantly, I see that it's making us stronger and bringing us closer. What I found really confusing, however, is that workplaces seem to have policies in place for us to care for children. But many workplaces, in fact most workplaces, have nothing formal in place for us to protect and support a carer or the right to care for our parents or other loved ones. I believe in our right to care for those we love when they are unwell. And I do believe that we have a tremendous opportunity here. We have a big opportunity to do things better for our industry and our colleagues. And quite frankly, a form of this can, and probably will, happen to most of us. This isn't just my story. This isn't unique. This is a human story. And the last time I checked, it's still humans working for those clients. As I prepared for this talk, I made a conscious decision not to show you pie charts and statistics. But we do have this incredible working care supplement that the Working Families Workstream has put together. And I implore you to consult this. Decision makers, colleagues, friends. There's an email address over there if you don't have a copy. It's already been sent out. The title of this talk is called Balancing Care and Career. Just going to click back. I don't know the answer. I really don't. I'm just winging it. And I fail every single day, and I feel better every single day. But let me leave you with a few thoughts. Why would you bother with the working carer? Our focus is clients, it's performance, it's profit. Well, we've heard today a lot about empathy, right? So it is the right thing to do. It is the kind thing to do. But actually, a form of this will touch your lives at some point. And when it does, you don't just need to work to pay your mortgage. You also need work to remind you of who you are, of your skills and your talents. And I hope that wherever you're working has a carers policy in place. Secondly, this is a broader issue. This is a gender issue, because the majority of working carers are going to be women. So whenever you start wondering where all those brilliant senior women are, well, after decades of patriarchy, childcare, glass ceilings, and menopause, here's another hurdle that we could work on together. But lastly, there's a lot of talk about human capital and culture and talent in our industry. But I really think it's time for us to start shifting towards community capital. Because once you start thinking about our organizations and workplaces as communities, we know that communities thrive with lots of weird and different characters, a diversity of perspectives, diversity of skills and backgrounds. So as we continue to navigate through different market conditions, here's a little secret for organizational resilience. When there's that market crash or that crazy client deadline, it's the storm sailors and the wounded warriors that you want around the table. Because we're the ones who, through adversity and trauma, have built resilience muscle. And we're going to stay pretty chill and bring stamina, empathy, problem solving, and decision making, which is exactly what we need for our communities and clients. Thank you.